The Self-Discipline Blueprint, the power of self-discipline, focus, and consistency for success. Before we start, please like and subscribe to help the channel grow. Now that you have subscribed, let's dive into the book. Introduction: The Hidden Superpower Within You. There is one trait that separates people who achieve their dreams from those who only wish and hope: self-discipline. It isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't even motivation, because motivation fades. What truly shapes your future is your ability to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Look around at anyone you admire. Behind their achievements, whether in business, sports, health, or relationships, is the invisible force of daily discipline. They weren't born with an advantage you lack. They simply chose the hard road repeatedly until that road became their way of life. This book is about unlocking that power in yourself. Relentless self-discipline is not a personality trait. It's a muscle you can build. Inside, you'll learn how to control your time instead of letting it control you. Build focus in a world full of noise. Use setbacks as fuel, not as excuses. Create small daily habits that add up to massive results. And above all, you'll learn how to stay disciplined for life, not just for a burst of enthusiasm. If you're ready to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start building the life you want, let's begin. Chapter 1. Discipline over motivation: Why willpower alone won't save you. Most of us are taught to believe that motivation is the key to success. We imagine that successful people leap out of bed each morning, overflowing with energy and passion for their goals. But here's the truth: motivation is a feeling, and like all feelings, it comes and goes. If you rely on motivation to move forward, you'll move only when conditions feel perfect, and that's rare. Motivation is like a spark. It burns bright at first, but it fades when faced with boredom, fatigue, or setbacks. Discipline is what carries you through when motivation fails. It's what makes you act, no matter how you feel. Think about a parent who gets up at dawn to prepare their children for school, not because they're motivated, but because they've made a commitment. Or consider a student who studies for an important exam night after night, even when they'd rather be out with friends. That's discipline. It's the quiet force that pushes you to do what matters, especially when it's hard. Here's a fresh example. Imagine a new entrepreneur trying to build a business. At first, they're excited. They design logos, dream about future success, and stay up late brainstorming. But soon, the hard work begins, dealing with paperwork, rejection, and slow progress. The excitement fades and motivation drops. What keeps the entrepreneur going isn't passion anymore, it's discipline. Showing up every day, sending that extra email, making that difficult phone call, learning from failure without quitting. Or think about health. At the start of a fitness journey, motivation might make you eager to hit the gym. You buy new workout clothes, plan healthy meals, and feel unstoppable. But a week later, when soreness sets in or progress feels slow, that fire dims. The disciplined person keeps showing up anyway. They don't need to feel excited. They've decided that health matters more than temporary discomfort. Even in creative work, discipline beats motivation. A great writer doesn't wait for inspiration. They sit down and write at the same time each day, whether ideas flow easily or not. The act of showing up creates momentum. That's discipline at work. Successful people aren't superhuman. They don't have endless willpower. What they have are systems, habits, and routines that reduce the need for constant decisions. The athlete trains at a set time every day. The investor sticks to a savings plan, no matter how tempting a new gadget looks. The top student schedules study sessions in advance so they don't need to choose between homework and distraction in the moment. They don't leave success up to chance, they build it choice by choice through discipline. Once you stop waiting for motivation and start practicing discipline, everything changes. You stop spending energy debating what to do. You simply do it. You stop starting and quitting over and over, and instead, you build momentum. You stop doubting yourself, because with each disciplined action, you become the kind of person who follows through. Reflection: what area of your life right now is suffering because you're waiting to feel motivated? What's one action you could take today to move forward, even if it's small? Your discipline challenge: choose one task you've been putting off, a workout, a phone call, 10 minutes of focused work. Complete it today, not because you feel like it, but because you've decided discipline matters more than mood. Write it down: today I choose discipline over motivation. Motivation may help you begin, but only discipline will carry you through. The people you admire didn't succeed because they always felt ready. They succeeded because they acted, ready or not. The foundations of relentless discipline. Relentless discipline is not a gift that some people are born with while others are left to struggle. It's a strength that anyone can build through intention, practice, and daily choices. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it grows. To build this strength, you must lay down solid foundations. These foundations are not quick fixes or magic formulas. They are principles that shape how you think, act, and persevere over time. In this section, we'll explore the 4 pillars that form the base of true self-discipline. 1. Discipline over motivation, acting beyond mood. Motivation is fleeting. It feels great while it lasts, that initial surge of excitement when you set a goal or dream about success. But motivation fades the moment things get hard, boring, or slow. If you depend on motivation, your progress will stop and start endlessly. Discipline is different. It's a decision to act no matter how you feel. The disciplined person understands that their mood is irrelevant to what needs to be done. They don't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They ask, "What did I promise myself? What will move me closer to my goal?" Real-life example, think of an athlete who trains through rain, cold, or exhaustion, not because they're motivated every day, but because they're committed. Think of the entrepreneur who keeps pitching their idea even after rejection because they've decided to show up no matter what. Reflection. Where in your life are you waiting to feel ready? What would happen if you chose action instead? 2. Personal responsibility, owning every choice you make. The second foundation of relentless discipline is complete ownership of your choices. When you take full responsibility, you stop blaming your past, your environment, or other people. You stop saying, "I couldn't because of this or that." Instead, you say, "I chose this, and I can choose differently." This mindset is powerful. It shifts you from victim mode to leader mode. It puts your future back in your hands. Life will always throw challenges at you, but the disciplined person focuses on what they can control and they act on it. Real-life example, the person who stops saying, "I don't have time to exercise," and starts saying, "I didn't make time," is now in control. The student who says, "I didn't prepare enough, I'll adjust my plan," instead of blaming a teacher or test, is building discipline. Reflection. What area of your life have you been blaming on external factors? What would it look like to take full ownership today? 3. Mastery of mindset, conquering resistance and excuses. Your mind will try to protect you from discomfort. It will whisper excuses, "You're too tired. You've done enough for today. It's okay to skip this one time." The problem is that these small excuses pile up, and before you know it, they've stolen your progress. Discipline means mastering that inner voice. It means recognizing those excuses for what they are, resistance to growth. The disciplined person doesn't try to silence the inner voice completely, they simply choose not to obey it. Real-life example, the writer who sits down to work, even when they feel uninspired, understands that creativity comes through action, not waiting. The runner who laces up their shoes despite the temptation to stay in bed strengthens their mindset every time they push through resistance. Reflection. What common excuse do you hear in your mind? How can you challenge it today? 4. Consistency over intensity, the long game wins. Big bursts of effort feel impressive, but they don't build lasting success. The strongest discipline is steady and consistent. It's the daily actions, the small wins, the quiet choices that stack up over time. You don't have to be extreme. You have to be consistent. Intensity can burn you out, but small, repeated action builds momentum, and momentum makes future action easier. That's the secret. The more consistent you are, the less willpower you need each time. Real-life example, the person who saves a little money every week ends up with more wealth than the person who saves large amounts only when they feel like it. The student who studies 30 minutes a day learns more than the one who crams all night before a test. Reflection. What small, consistent action could you commit to this week that would move you toward your goal? Bringing the foundations together. Relentless discipline is built on these 4 foundations. Acting beyond your moods. Taking full ownership of your choices. Mastering your mindset and recognizing excuses. Choosing consistency over occasional intensity. No one builds a disciplined life in a single day. It happens in small decisions repeated over time until self-discipline becomes your new identity. Your challenge, build your foundation today. Pick one foundation you want to strengthen first. Write down one small action you'll take today to practice it. It might be doing a task without waiting to feel motivated, admitting where you've made an excuse and choosing differently, pushing through an inner excuse and acting anyway, taking a small, consistent step, even if tiny, toward your goal. Write it, commit to it, and start building the life you want, one disciplined choice at a time. Personal responsibility, owning every choice you make. One of the most powerful foundations of relentless discipline is personal responsibility, the decision to fully own every choice you make. Too often, people give away their power without realizing it. They blame circumstances, their past, other people, or even bad luck for where they are today. It feels easier in the moment to say, "I couldn't help it," or "it wasn't my fault." But the truth is, this way of thinking keeps you stuck. The disciplined person understands that even when life throws challenges their way, even when things feel unfair, they still control how they respond. Taking personal responsibility doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect or ignoring real obstacles. It means focusing on what is within your control and acting on it. When you take ownership, you shift from being a victim of circumstances to becoming the architect of your own life. Every choice, big or small, adds up to shape your future. The decision to wake up early or sleep in, to stick to your budget or overspend, to study or scroll your phone, these are choices, not accidents. And every choice either builds your discipline or weakens it. Consider the difference between saying, "I don't have time to exercise," and saying, "I didn't make time today." The first gives away responsibility as if time controls you. The second accepts that you had a choice and can choose differently tomorrow. When you stop looking for excuses and start looking for what you can control, you take back your power. Personal responsibility turns discipline from something forced on you into something you choose for yourself, and that's where lasting change begins. Case Study 1. The entrepreneur who refused to blame the market. Imagine a young entrepreneur named Malik who launched an online store selling eco-friendly products. In the first few months, sales were slow. Malik could have easily blamed the economy, his competitors, or even his suppliers for the lack of success. Instead, he took full ownership. He asked hard questions. What can I learn? What am I not doing well yet? He realized his marketing strategy was weak and that his product descriptions weren't clear. Rather than complain, Malik spent late nights studying digital marketing, rewriting his website, and improving customer service. Within a year, his sales doubled, not because the market changed, but because he changed how he showed up. Malik's choice to take responsibility instead of waiting for external conditions to improve built his discipline and his success. Case Study 2. The student who took charge of their learning. Consider Sarah, a university student who struggled with her grades in her first semester. She was tempted to blame her professors for being too harsh or the course material for being too difficult. But Sarah chose personal responsibility. She admitted to herself that she hadn't managed her time well and that she hadn't asked for help when she needed it. Instead of making excuses, she made a plan. She started attending office hours, formed a study group, and set a strict weekly study schedule. By the end of the year, her grades improved dramatically. Sarah's success wasn't about being smarter, it was about taking ownership of her effort and choices. Case Study 3. The athlete who overcame injury through ownership. Let's look at Alex, a sprinter with dreams of competing nationally. A serious leg injury during training could have ended Alex's career. Many athletes in that situation might blame bad luck or give up on their dreams. But Alex took a different path. He chose to focus on what was within his control, his recovery process, nutrition, mindset, and upper body training. He worked closely with his physical therapist, stayed disciplined with rehab exercises, and stayed mentally engaged with the sport. After a year of dedicated effort, Alex returned stronger, not just physically, but mentally, because he had learned that ownership builds resilience. These examples share one powerful truth: success comes not from blaming external forces, but from looking inward and asking, what can I do right now to move forward? Relentless discipline starts with that simple, courageous question. Reflection for you: where in your life have you been tempted to blame someone or something else? What action could you take today that would put the power back in your hands? Challenge: write down one area where you will take full responsibility this week and one specific action you'll take to improve it. The inner war: mastering your mind's resistance. Every person who sets a meaningful goal will eventually face a hidden opponent, their own mind's resistance. This is the inner war that quietly stops most people from building the life they want. Your mind, by its nature, is designed to keep you safe, comfortable, and far from risk. It wants to protect you from pain, embarrassment, failure, or discomfort. But the mind often can't tell the difference between true danger and imagined discomfort. It treats a tough workout, a hard conversation, or a challenging project as if they are threats, when in fact, these are the very things that help you grow. The disciplined person understands this and chooses to act anyway. Resistance shows up in many forms. It might sound like logic: you deserve a break today. You'll have more time tomorrow. You're too tired to do your best work. Sometimes it arrives as distraction when you suddenly feel the need to clean your desk instead of getting started. It might show up as delay, like promising yourself you'll begin next week, or as doubt, whispering that you aren't ready or good enough yet. But no matter how it appears, resistance always has one goal: to stop you from taking the next step. Mastering the inner war doesn't mean silencing these voices completely. It means learning to recognize resistance for what it is and refusing to obey it. The disciplined person notices the excuses and the hesitation, but they move forward anyway. Action is the key. Even the smallest action weakens resistance and builds strength. This is how you train yourself to act beyond doubt, fear, and delay. In fact, the disciplined person learns to see discomfort as a sign they are in the right place at the edge of growth. When your mind says, "I don't want to," that's often your signal that you're exactly where you need to be. Consider Jana, an artist who dreamed of creating a full collection to exhibit in a gallery. Every time she sat down to paint, resistance showed up. Doubts about her skill, the urge to procrastinate, and the voice that told her, "You're not ready." But Jana made a decision: she would pick up the brush at 7 a.m. every day, no matter how she felt. The first few minutes often felt like a battle, but once she began, the flow returned. By the end of the year, she had completed 50 pieces and held her first show. She didn't win by feeling inspired, she won by choosing action over resistance. Mastering your mind's resistance is one of the greatest skills of relentless discipline. The inner war never disappears completely, but you can become stronger than it. Success belongs to those who stop waiting for the perfect moment and start acting through the discomfort. The disciplined person knows this truth: the voice that says later is the first sign to begin right now. Chapter 2. The Long Game: Why Success Belongs to the Consistent, Not the Talented. One of the greatest myths about success is that it belongs to the most talented, the most gifted, or the most naturally brilliant. But look closely at the lives of those who achieve great things and you'll see a different truth: success belongs to those who stay consistent. Talent might give you an early advantage. It might help you stand out for a moment. But without consistency, talent fades. Without discipline, even the most gifted person will eventually fall behind. The person who wins in the end is the one who shows up day after day and does the work even when no one is watching, even when progress is slow, even when it would be easier to quit. Consistency is the quiet force behind every lasting success. It's not dramatic. It doesn't get applause. But it's the reason the student with average ability earns top marks after months of steady study. It's the reason the runner who starts with no natural speed eventually crosses the marathon finish line. It's the reason the small business owner with no special connections builds a thriving company through years of steady effort. Talent might open the door, but consistency walks you through it. The long game is about thinking beyond the moment. It's about understanding that small, repeated actions build more than occasional bursts of effort ever will. Many people burn themselves out trying to make massive changes overnight. They start a new plan with energy and excitement, but because they've relied on intensity instead of consistency, they quit when that energy fades. The disciplined person takes a different path. They focus on progress over perfection, on habits over hype. They know that showing up imperfectly every day beats showing up perfectly once in a while. Consider Tomas, a man who decided to change his health after years of inactivity. First, he tried to go all in. 2-hour workouts, strict diets, dramatic lifestyle overhauls. He burned out within weeks. But when Tomas shifted to the long game, everything changed. He committed to 30 minutes of exercise a day. He aimed to make slightly better food choices, not perfect ones. Slowly, steadily, his fitness and confidence grew. A year later, Tomas had transformed his health not through a sudden burst of talent or willpower, but through simple, consistent effort. Mastering the long game means learning to respect the power of small, steady action. It means understanding that success is rarely the result of one big moment, but the result of thousands of small moments where you chose discipline over comfort. The person who wins is not the one who had the greatest talent at the start, but the one who refused to quit. Where in your life have you focused on intensity over consistency? What small, daily action could you start today that would create big change over time? The long game. Why success belongs to the consistent, not the talented. One of the greatest myths about success is that it belongs to the most talented, the naturally gifted, the brilliant, the people who seem to have an advantage from the start. But if you study the lives of those who achieve lasting success, you'll find a different truth. Success belongs not to those with the greatest talent, but to those with the greatest consistency. Talent might give someone a head start. It might help them shine for a moment. But without discipline and persistence, talent fades. The person who wins in the long run is the one who keeps showing up, through the hard days, the dull days, and the days when no one is watching. Consistency is the quiet force behind every real success. It rarely draws attention or applause. It's not dramatic or flashy, but it's what allows an ordinary student to become a top performer after months of steady study. It's what helps a beginner runner with no natural speed complete their first marathon. It's how a small business owner with no special connections builds something that lasts simply by doing the work day after day. Talent might open a door, but it's consistency that carries you through it and down the path to real achievement. The long game is about understanding that small, repeated actions create more impact than occasional bursts of effort. Many people fall into the trap of intensity, trying to make dramatic changes overnight. They start a new habit or goal with excitement and energy, but because they've built their plan on emotion rather than discipline, they burn out when that energy fades. The person who plays the long game takes a different path. They focus on steady progress, not perfection. They build systems and habits that help them succeed even on the days they don't feel motivated. They know that showing up imperfectly every day beats showing up perfectly once in a while. Consider Tomas, who decided to change his health after years of unhealthy habits. At first, he tried to transform everything at once: strict diets, long workouts, and ambitious lifestyle overhauls. Within weeks, he was overwhelmed and exhausted. But when Tomas chose the long game, everything changed. He committed to 30 minutes of exercise each day and small, steady improvements in his eating. It felt slow at first, but over the course of a year, his health and confidence transformed, not because of a burst of willpower, but because of steady, disciplined effort. True success belongs to those who understand the power of the long game. It's not about the person who starts with the most natural ability, but the one who keeps showing up, keeps improving, and refuses to quit. Every small act of discipline, repeated over time, creates results that no amount of talent can match. The long game teaches us that success is not a single moment of glory. It is the reward for thousands of small, consistent choices made when no one is watching. The discipline of focus. Saying no to say yes. One of the greatest tests of self-discipline is the ability to focus, to say no to what distracts so you can say yes to what matters. In a world full of endless opportunities, constant notifications, and competing demands, mastering focus is more difficult and more valuable than ever. Without discipline, it's easy to stay busy without ever making real progress. The disciplined person knows that focus is not just about what you choose to do. It's about what you choose to say no to. Saying no requires courage. It means declining good opportunities in order to pursue great ones. It means setting boundaries that protect your energy, your time, and your mission. When you say no to the noise, you say yes to your purpose. When you say no to distractions, you say yes to mastery. Steve Jobs is a famous example of the power of disciplined focus. When he returned to Apple in 1997, the company was struggling with dozens of product lines that spread its energy thin. One of Jobs' first moves was to slash the product line by 70%, focusing the company's efforts on just 4 core products. This bold act of saying no, of cutting away distractions, saved Apple and set the stage for its legendary success. Jobs once said, "Focus is about saying no." He understood that greatness comes from directing full energy toward a few priorities, not chasing every possibility. J.K. Rowling offers another powerful example. Before she became the world-famous author of Harry Potter, Rowling was a single mother living on welfare. She wrote her first book in cafes during stolen hours while her baby slept. She turned down social outings and limited distractions, pouring her limited time and energy into finishing that manuscript. By saying no to what didn't serve her goal, she said yes to the dream that changed her life. Nelson Mandela's focus during his imprisonment teaches another lesson in disciplined clarity. During 27 years behind bars, Mandela could have allowed himself to be consumed by bitterness or distracted by short-term comforts. Instead, he focused on the long-term goal of a free and united South Africa. He rejected offers of early release that came with conditions that would have compromised that mission. Mandela's ability to say no, even in incredibly difficult circumstances, allowed him to say yes to a vision far greater than himself. Marie Curie, the pioneering scientist, demonstrated ruthless focus throughout her career. Despite working in a male-dominated field and facing constant challenges, she said no to distractions and unnecessary obligations, devoting herself fully to research. Curie's discipline allowed her to achieve groundbreaking discoveries in radioactivity, earning 2 Nobel Prizes, the first person ever to win in 2 different scientific fields. A modern example is Serena Williams. As one of the greatest athletes of all time, Serena's path to excellence was paved by focus. Throughout her career, she repeatedly turned down lucrative offers and media opportunities that didn't align with her core mission, winning championships and refining her game. Her ability to say no to distractions allowed her to say yes to her pursuit of mastery. The discipline of focus isn't about selfishness, it's about integrity. It means being clear about what truly matters and having the strength to protect it. It means understanding that time, energy, and attention are limited resources, and where you direct them shapes your future. Focus is the act of pruning, of cutting away the unnecessary so that what remains can thrive. Reflection for you: who or what in your life is pulling your focus away from your deepest goals? What distractions could you say no to today that would free you to move closer to your dreams? Challenge this week: identify one obligation, invitation, or habit that doesn't serve your highest priority and say no. Then take that saved time or energy and invest it fully in what matters most. Focus is not something that happens to you. It is something you create through disciplined choices. The more you say no to distractions, the more fully you say yes to your vision, your values, and your dreams. Strengthening your discipline of focus, practical exercises. Focus is not something you're born with, it is a skill you build through disciplined action. The following exercises will help you develop the power to say no to distractions and yes to what truly matters. Each practice is simple, but when done consistently will sharpen your ability to stay locked in on your highest priorities. 1. The focus filter: clarify what matters most. Each morning, take 5 minutes to ask yourself 2 questions. What are the 1 to 3 most important tasks I must complete today to move closer to my long-term goals? If I could only achieve one thing today, what would create the greatest impact? Write these answers down at the start of your day. Keep them where you can see them, on your desk, in your journal, or as a note on your phone. Throughout the day, when you feel distracted or overwhelmed, return to this list. Let it guide your choices. 2. The not-to-do list. Spend 1 week observing how you spend your time. Keep a simple list of activities or habits that drain your focus without helping you progress. These might include scrolling social media aimlessly, saying yes to tasks that aren't your responsibility, responding instantly to every notification or email. At the end of the week, review your list. Choose 3 distractions to either eliminate, limit, or delegate. The goal is to create space for what truly matters. 3. The 90-minute focus block. Carve out one block of 90 minutes each day for deep, focused work. Choose a task that serves your highest priority. Silence notifications. Close all unnecessary tabs, apps, or devices. Let others know you are unavailable during this time. Protect this block as you would a vital meeting. When the 90 minutes are up, reflect on what you accomplished. You'll likely find that these focused sessions achieve more than hours of scattered effort. 4. The power of no practice. For 7 days, challenge yourself to say no at least once per day to something that pulls you away from your priorities. This could be turning down an unnecessary meeting, declining a social invitation that would derail your plan, saying no to your own impulse to multitask or switch tasks. Keep a brief journal of each moment you say no. Record what you said no to, how it felt, and what result came from protecting your focus. 5. The Distraction Awareness Journal. For 3 days, carry a small notebook or use a phone app to track moments when you lose focus. Each time it happens, jot down: what distracted you? What were you doing when it happened? How did you respond? At the end of each day, review your notes. Look for patterns and choose one small change you can make the next day to reduce distractions. 6. The Weekly Focus Reflection. Set aside 10 minutes at the end of each week for a focus check-in. Ask yourself, where did I stay focused this week? Where did I lose focus? What can I change next week to strengthen my discipline of focus? This reflection helps you adjust, refine, and improve, building your focus muscle over time. Keycap 7. The One Goal Month Challenge. Choose one major goal for the next 30 days, something meaningful that requires your focused attention. Write it down and commit to it. Spend at least 30 minutes each day working on it without distraction. Track your progress in a notebook or journal. At the end of the month, review how consistent focus moved you further than scattered effort ever could. Final thought. Focus is like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Small daily efforts, choosing what to say yes to and what to say no to, will transform your ability to achieve deep, meaningful success. Financial self-discipline, building wealth with small, smart decisions. True wealth is rarely built through one lucky break or a dramatic event. More often, it comes from small, smart decisions made quietly and consistently over time. Financial self-discipline is not about how much you earn, it's about how wisely you manage what you have. It's about learning to make choices that serve your long-term well-being rather than your short-term desires. Every time you choose to save rather than spend, to invest rather than waste, or to pause rather than give in to impulse, you are shaping your future security and freedom. In today's culture of instant gratification, this kind of discipline is rare but powerful. It's easy to fall into the habit of spending without thinking, whether it's on the latest gadget, designer clothes, or a lifestyle meant to impress others. Advertisements and social media encourage this cycle by telling you that happiness is just one purchase away. But those who achieve lasting financial success know the truth. Wealth grows when you control your spending, live below your means, and put your money to work. Consider Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people in the world. Buffett is known not just for his brilliant investments, but for his remarkable self-discipline. Despite his fortune, he has lived in the same modest house for decades, drives an ordinary car, and avoids unnecessary luxuries. His wealth grew not because of wild spending, but because of consistent, smart decisions made over many years. Similarly, take the story of Ronald Read, a janitor and gas station attendant in Vermont who quietly amassed an $8 million fortune by the time he passed away. Ronald didn't earn a high salary. He built his wealth by living frugally, saving consistently, and investing in stable companies over decades. His life is a powerful reminder that financial self-discipline matters far more than income when it comes to building wealth. Ronald Read never chased flashy purchases or lived beyond his means. He simply made small, smart financial choices that compounded over time. Another example is Oprah Winfrey, who rose from poverty to become one of the most successful and influential figures in the world. While Oprah's talent and vision played major roles in her success, it was her financial discipline that helped her turn opportunities into lasting wealth. She has repeatedly spoken about the importance of saying no to unnecessary expenses, surrounding herself with wise financial advisors, and building long-term security rather than chasing short-term status. Oprah's success story shows that even with growing income and opportunity, the ability to control spending and make intentional choices remains critical. Everyday people can follow the same path. Think of Priya, a teacher who once struggled with credit card debt and felt she could never get ahead. By creating a simple budget, committing to pay herself first through automatic savings, and saying no to unnecessary spending, she slowly reversed her financial situation. Within 5 years, she paid off her debts and started building an investment account that gave her peace of mind. Or consider Daniel, who after years of spending his entire paycheck decided to adopt a 24-hour rule for purchases. He delayed all non-essential spending for at least a day, which helped him break his pattern of impulse buys. That single disciplined habit freed up hundreds of dollars each month, which he used to build his first emergency fund. Financial self-discipline doesn't mean living joylessly or denying yourself every pleasure. It means being intentional, deciding what truly matters, and aligning your money with those priorities. It means choosing freedom over fleeting thrills, security over status, and long-term gain over short-term comfort. Every small, smart decision adds up. Over months and years, these choices compound, building wealth quietly and steadily. The disciplined person understands that true wealth isn't found through chance. It's built choice by choice, hour by hour, dollar by dollar. Health and energy, discipline in body builds discipline in mind with case studies. One of the most overlooked truths about self-discipline is this: your physical health directly shapes your mental strength. The body and mind are not separate. When you take disciplined care of your body through what you eat, how you move, how you rest, you strengthen your ability to stay focused, resilient, and determined in every other area of life. Simply put, discipline in your body builds discipline in your mind. Many try to sharpen their productivity or mental focus while neglecting their physical health. They wonder why their energy crashes, their motivation fades, or their focus slips. They seek mental discipline while asking their body to function on empty. The reality is simple: energy fuels willpower. Without strong physical energy, even the most determined intentions are harder to maintain. Why body discipline strengthens mind discipline? Discipline in the body builds discipline in the mind because the habits we form in caring for our physical health shape how we approach challenges in every part of life. Physical routines create mental routines. When you commit to daily exercise, healthy eating, or consistent sleep, you are not just improving your body, you are building structure, consistency, and resilience that naturally spill over into your work, relationships, and goals. Energy fuels willpower. Self-control depends on your brain's ability to stay focused, resist temptation, and keep going in the face of difficulty. But this ability weakens when you are tired, undernourished, or physically drained. A healthy body keeps your mental battery charged, making it easier to choose discipline over distraction. Movement also clears mental fog. Even short bursts of physical activity boost your mood, lower stress hormones, and sharpen your thinking. It is no surprise that so many high achievers protect their exercise routines fiercely. They know it fuels their clarity and creativity. Finally, health habits build self-respect. Every time you care for your body, you send yourself a powerful message: I am worth the effort. This self-respect strengthens your confidence and makes it easier to stay disciplined in other areas of life, from work to personal growth. Practical ways to build body-mind discipline together. Building discipline in both body and mind starts with small, intentional choices. Set a daily movement goal. This doesn't have to be extreme. A 20-minute walk, a short home workout, or simple stretching is enough to create momentum. Eat for energy, not just comfort. By choosing whole, nourishing foods most of the time, you help your body maintain stable blood sugar and your mind stay focused and alert. Protect your sleep because discipline begins the night before. A rested mind is far better equipped to resist distractions and temptations. Hydrate consistently. Even mild dehydration affects your mood, focus, and energy levels. Make water your default drink throughout the day. Finally, stack your habits. Pair physical discipline with mental discipline to build powerful routines. For example, after you exercise, take 10 minutes to plan your day. Or stretch while listening to an inspiring audiobook. These small, combined actions multiply your results and help create a lifestyle of discipline that supports both your body and your mind. Consider Benjamin Franklin, one of history's great polymaths. Franklin's famous daily schedule included time for exercise, rest, and reflection. He believed that caring for his body supported his ability to think clearly, work effectively, and contribute meaningfully. His disciplined physical habits helped him produce a lifetime of inventions, writings, and leadership. Barack Obama is another example of body-mind discipline. During his presidency, one of the most demanding jobs in the world, Obama made exercise a non-negotiable part of his daily routine. He started most mornings with a workout, knowing that physical health was critical to maintaining his focus, resilience, and calm under pressure. His discipline in caring for his body gave him the stamina to navigate years of complex challenges. Tony Robbins, the renowned speaker and coach, speaks openly about the link between physiology and mindset. Robbins begins each day with a physical routine designed to energize his body and sharpen his mind. He credits his success not just to strategy and vision, but to the daily discipline of conditioning his body so his mind can perform at its peak. Oprah Winfrey also embodies this principle. After years of struggling with energy and stress while building her media empire, Oprah prioritized wellness as a foundation for her continued success. Her commitment to regular exercise, healthy eating, and mindful practices not only improved her physical health but strengthened her clarity, confidence, and creative power. Leonardo da Vinci valued the connection between body and mind centuries before modern science confirmed it. Known not just for his art but his scientific curiosity, Da Vinci made physical fitness a priority. He walked, climbed, and studied human anatomy, believing that a healthy body was essential to sharp thought and creative genius. These examples remind us that the greatest achievers across history and disciplines understood a core truth: discipline applied to the body strengthens discipline in every area of life. They didn't treat health as a side note or luxury, they treated it as the foundation for sustained success. Summary of the lesson. Discipline in health is not about perfection or extremes. It is about consistent small choices, moving the body, fueling it well, resting it deeply. These choices don't just improve how you feel, they fortify your willpower, sharpen your focus, and give you the endurance to stay true to your highest goals. Chapter 3. Becoming Unstoppable. Bounce back stronger, using failure as fuel. Failure is not the end of the road, it's the fire that can forge resilience, wisdom, and strength. Every person who has achieved lasting success has failed. The difference is that they didn't let failure define them. Instead, they chose to let it refine them. The unstoppable person understands that failure is not proof of weakness, it is part of the process of growth. When you fail, you have two choices. You can see it as a dead end, give up, and let discouragement take over. Or you can choose to see failure as feedback, information that helps you improve, adjust, and come back stronger. Failure reveals what doesn't work. It teaches you where your skills need sharpening, where your plan needs changing, and where your mindset needs strengthening. The disciplined person welcomes this knowledge because they know setbacks are setups for comebacks. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His relentless experiments on the electric light bulb didn't break his spirit, they strengthened it. Each failure brought him closer to a solution because he treated failure as a teacher, not a judge. Or look at J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by numerous publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Rowling later shared that hitting rock bottom forced her to focus completely on what mattered. She used rejection as fuel to work harder and believe more deeply in her vision. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes of all time, often spoke of how failure drove him. He missed thousands of shots in his career, lost games, and was even cut from his high school basketball team. Instead of quitting, he used every failure to push himself harder, to train longer, and to sharpen his focus. Jordan's legendary success was built not on avoiding failure, but on embracing it. Failure, when met with discipline, transforms into power. It humbles you, reminds you that growth is always possible, and forces you to level up. It teaches persistence. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who keep getting up, each time wiser, stronger, and more determined. How to turn failure into fuel. When you face failure, the first step is to pause, but don't quit. It's natural to feel disappointment, frustration, or even doubt after a setback. Give yourself a moment to breathe and process those emotions, but don't stay down. The key is to rise, stronger and wiser. Every failure contains a lesson if you're willing to look for it. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Your setback may reveal a skill you need to build, a plan that needs refining, or a mindset that needs strengthening. Don't let the lesson slip by, write it down and reflect on it. Next, adjust and act. The disciplined person doesn't repeat the same approach, hoping for a different result. They use failure as feedback, changing their strategy and trying again with greater wisdom. Remember, failure is always temporary. Although setbacks can feel permanent in the heat of the moment, they are simply chapters in your larger story. The story continues. Keep writing it with courage and determination. And as you move forward, learn to celebrate effort, not just outcomes. Give yourself credit for the bravery it takes to try. Every attempt, successful or not, builds resilience and sharpens your strength for the road ahead. Reflection for you. Take a moment to consider, when was a time failure taught you something valuable? What fear of failure might be holding you back right now, and how could you reframe that fear as a learning opportunity that could set you free? Your challenge, bounce back plan. Choose one recent setback, no matter how big or small. Write down the answers to 3 powerful questions. What went wrong? What can I learn from it? What will I do differently next time? Then, within the next 24 hours, take one small, intentional action that moves you forward with this lesson in mind. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success. The unstoppable person doesn't avoid failure. They use it, learn from it, and grow stronger because of it. Every time you choose to bounce back, you are training yourself to be more resilient, more focused, and more fearless in the pursuit of your goals. Habits of the disciplined. The little things that make the big difference. Discipline isn't built on grand gestures, massive sacrifices, or rare heroic efforts. In truth, it grows from the small, quiet habits, the little choices made day after day, that create unstoppable strength over time. The disciplined person understands that lasting success doesn't come from occasional bursts of effort or moments of inspiration. It comes from consistency. It comes from doing the right thing even when no one is watching. It comes from mastering the small things that, when compounded over weeks, months, and years, produce extraordinary results. This waking up when the alarm rings instead of hitting snooze. This showing up even when motivation is low and no one would fault you for stepping back. It's planning your day rather than letting the day control you. It's reading for 10 minutes instead of scrolling mindlessly. It's choosing water over soda or saving a few coins instead of spending them. Each of these small acts may seem insignificant in the moment, but together they shape who you become. Just as a single drop of water wears down stone over time, small daily habits carve out a stronger, more resilient, and more focused version of yourself. Little habits matter because they build momentum. Small wins create the confidence and energy needed to tackle bigger challenges. When you prove to yourself that you can keep small promises, you naturally strengthen your ability to keep larger ones. These habits also shape identity. Every time you act with discipline, no matter how small the action, you reinforce the identity of a focused, determined person. Discipline isn't formed in a single heroic moment, it's built in thousands of small, invisible choices. And like money that grows with interest, disciplined habits compound over time. A simple 10-minute daily habit might seem minor today, but in a year it adds up to 60 hours of focused action, and over a decade, it can change the course of your life. Each small act strengthens your self-control muscle, making discipline easier to apply in bigger and more demanding areas. There are countless examples of how small habits transform lives. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson credits his early habit of daily training with building the mindset that fueled his career. Even when he had little, the discipline of showing up in the gym taught him consistency, focus, and resilience. Angela Duckworth, the author of Grit, emphasizes the power of small daily practices like writing down goals or reflecting on setbacks in building perseverance. Successful investors like Warren Buffett built their wisdom through the small daily habit of reading for hours. Writers such as Stephen King commit to writing a set number of words each day. It isn't inspiration that fuels their output, but discipline, the habit of showing up whether they feel like it or not. To build small disciplines that add up, start tiny. Choose habits so small they're almost impossible to skip: 1 push-up, 1 sentence written, 1 minute of deep breathing. Success builds from these small beginnings. Stack your habits by attaching them to routines you already follow. For example, after brushing your teeth, review your plan for the day. Track your habits visibly. Use a calendar, app, or notebook to mark your streak. And let the sight of your progress fuel your motivation. And aim to never break the chain. Focus on consistency rather than perfection. Even on difficult days, do the tiniest version of your habit to keep your momentum alive. If you pause to reflect, ask yourself, what small, positive habit could I start today that would make a big difference in a year? Which of my small habits are strengthening my discipline, and which ones are quietly weakening it? Discipline is built in the small things. The daily choice to show up, to act intentionally, to keep promises to yourself. That is what creates lasting strength. The little things, done consistently, truly make the biggest difference. The legacy of self-discipline. How you influence others by leading yourself. Self-discipline is one of the greatest gifts you can give to the world. Not because it draws attention, but because it quietly shapes lives. When you choose discipline, you don't just build your own strength. You create a ripple effect that reaches far beyond yourself. The truth is, people are always watching. They may not say it. They may not show it. But they notice how you show up when things get hard. They see how you choose to act when no one forces you. They observe how you respond to failure, how you stay true to your word, and how you keep striving even when success seems distant. And in watching you, they learn what is possible for themselves. The disciplined person leads by example, not by command. They don't need to lecture or boast, their actions speak louder. A parent who lives with discipline teaches their children perseverance, patience, and the value of effort far more than any speech could. A leader who stays consistent under pressure teaches their team resilience and accountability. A friend who keeps their promises shows that loyalty and integrity matter. Even in ordinary moments, waking early to work on a goal, showing up when tired, staying kind in the face of stress, you are writing your legacy. Your discipline becomes a light others can follow. And this influence is not always immediate. Sometimes, the seeds you plant through disciplined living take years to bear fruit in others. The child who grows up watching a parent's hard work learns to face life's challenges with courage. The colleague who sees your consistent effort might one day choose persistence over quitting in their own journey. The friend who watches you rise after failure may find the strength to rise in their darkest hour. Consider historical examples. Mahatma Gandhi's unwavering discipline in living simply, in sticking to nonviolence, and in staying focused on his mission inspired millions not because he was perfect, but because he modeled what was possible when someone lives by their deepest principles. Nelson Mandela's disciplined commitment to forgiveness and unity after years of imprisonment changed a nation and showed the world the power of self-mastery. These leaders did not influence through words alone. Their legacies were built on the disciplined lives they lived, moment by moment, choice by choice. Even in everyday life, we see this truth. The teacher who stays after school to help struggling students, the athlete who shows up to practice early, the business owner who builds slowly with integrity, these people leave a mark. Their discipline becomes their legacy. What you build within yourself, your habits, your focus, your ability to stay the course, does not stop with you. It becomes part of the story you write in the lives of others. This is the quiet power of self-discipline. It is not about controlling others or seeking praise. It is about leading yourself so well that others are moved to rise higher, to believe more deeply in their own strength, and to aim for more. In the end, discipline is not just a personal tool for success. It is an act of leadership. It is a gift that can inspire long after you are gone. What kind of legacy is your discipline creating right now? Who might be quietly watching you, learning from how you lead yourself? How can you sharpen your self-discipline, not only for your own sake, but to lift up those around you? Relentless for life, how to stay disciplined when no one's watching. True discipline is tested in the quiet moments, when no one is watching, when no applause will follow, and when the reward feels distant or invisible. Anyone can put on a show of discipline when there's an audience, when praise, status, or recognition is on the line. But what defines a truly relentless person is their ability to stay disciplined in private, when it's just them, their goals, and their inner voice. This is where character is forged in the silent decisions that no one will ever see but that shape everything about who you become. The relentless person doesn't train, study, work, or push forward just for applause. They do it because their vision matters more than their comfort. They do it because they know that integrity means keeping promises to yourself, not just to others. In these hidden moments, excuses become tempting. It's easy to cut corners, to tell yourself that skipping today won't matter, or that no one will know if you quit early. But discipline means doing what must be done, not what is easy. It means setting your own standard, one that doesn't waver based on who's watching. This is how greatness is built, through the workouts completed in empty gyms, the books studied in the quiet hours, the small tasks done right even when no one checks the results. It's the artist practicing long before the world cares, the entrepreneur planning while others sleep, the student mastering skills no one asked them to learn. The relentless for life see discipline not as a performance but as a way of being. They understand that the reward is not in recognition, it's in the growth that happens along the way. They know that staying true to their discipline in private builds a quiet confidence that no one can take from them. And with each day they choose to stay disciplined, they widen the gap between those who wait for motivation and those who act regardless of it. In the end, it's the unseen efforts that shape the seen successes. What you do when no one is watching is what makes you unstoppable when the world finally does. When was the last time you stayed disciplined for no one but yourself? What standard are you holding yourself to, and is it high enough to match the life you want? Relentless for life, how to stay disciplined when no one's watching. True discipline lives in the small, unseen choices we make when no one else is watching. To strengthen this inner standard, start by setting one private goal for yourself today, something simple that only you will know about. It might be writing for 15 minutes, stretching for 10, reviewing your goals, or saving a small amount of money. The point is not what others see, but what you choose when it's just you and your commitment. Create what I call a no-excuse zone, a small habit that you follow through on daily, no matter how you feel or how busy you are. This could be making your bed, reading a single page, or planning your day each morning. Let this small act be your anchor, a reminder that you set your own standard. Keep track of your private discipline quietly. You don't need to announce it to the world, instead, mark it on a calendar, in a notebook, or with a tally on a sticky note. A silent record of your integrity. And when you feel tempted to stop, do just a little more. One extra push-up, one more problem solved, one more page read. These small moments of one more build mental toughness and prove to yourself that your limits are yours to set. Reflect on your progress honestly. Ask yourself, when was the last time I stayed disciplined even though no one was watching, and what did that teach me? Where in my life am I tempted to cut corners because no one will know, and how can I choose better, just for me? What small private act of discipline done daily would transform my confidence over time? What would it mean to me personally to be relentless for life, and how can I start living that way now? If I acted as if my private choices mattered as much as my public ones, how would my habits shift this week? These questions and the honest answers you give yourself are how you build a discipline that lasts not just for a season, but for life. The power of daily standards, how consistency builds an unshakable foundation. If discipline is the engine that drives success, then daily standards are the fuel that keeps it running. The most successful and focused people don't rely on mood, motivation, or ideal circumstances to take action. They rely on personal standards, the non-negotiable actions they take each day, no matter how they feel. These daily standards are small commitments that, over time, shape who you become. They might be as simple as setting aside time each morning to plan your priorities, making healthful food choices, or dedicating time to learn or practice your craft. What matters is not how impressive they look to others, but how consistently they are honored by you. Consistency in these daily standards builds an unshakable foundation. It creates structure in a world full of distractions. It keeps you moving forward on hard days and accelerates your progress on good ones. When you live by standards rather than emotions, you stop waiting for the right time and start building the right life. Each day's small, repeated actions stack up, forming habits, building confidence, and creating momentum that carries you through larger challenges. And because these standards are self-imposed, they strengthen your sense of ownership and responsibility. You stop blaming circumstances or waiting for inspiration. Instead, you live by choice, shaping your future one decision at a time. The discipline of focus, saying no to the noise, yes to what matters. Once daily standards are in place, the next challenge is protecting them. In a world overflowing with distractions, true discipline requires the courage to say no. The disciplined person understands that every yes to something unimportant is a no to what truly matters. Focus is not something you're born with, it's something you practice. And that practice begins with the decision to protect your time, your energy, and your priorities from the noise that surrounds you. Discipline of focus means learning to ignore the temptation of the trivial. It means turning off notifications, choosing deep work over shallow tasks, and refusing to chase every shiny object that promises instant results. It means understanding that not all opportunities are worth your attention and not every request deserves a piece of your day. When you develop the habit of saying no politely but firmly to distractions, you create space for meaningful progress. You protect the standards you've set and you build a life that reflects your true goals rather than the demands of others. Focus discipline also teaches you to align your daily actions with your larger vision. Each decision becomes a chance to either feed your purpose or feed your procrastination. And over time, this focused way of living sharpens your clarity, deepens your impact, and accelerates your growth. The disciplined person knows greatness is not built by doing more, it is built by doing what matters again and again without being pulled off course. Sustaining discipline in hard times. How to stay steady when life gets tough. Discipline matters most not when everything is going smoothly, but when life gets hard. It's easy to follow your standards, focus on your priorities, and keep your promises when the path is clear and the conditions are comfortable. But real discipline, the kind that shapes character and creates lasting success, is tested in moments of struggle. It shows itself when you're tired, when setbacks hit, when doubt creeps in, or when nothing seems to be going your way. In hard times, the disciplined person chooses steadiness over surrender. They understand that circumstances don't control their actions. Their principles do. When stress rises, they don't abandon their daily habits. They simplify and focus on the core. When motivation fades, they fall back on systems and standards rather than feelings. They remind themselves that discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. Showing up even in small ways when everything around them tempts them to quit. Hard times reveal who you are becoming. Each time you hold to your discipline during difficulty, you build unshakable strength. You train yourself to be dependable even under pressure. And this reliability fuels confidence because you've proven to yourself that you can be trusted to stay the course no matter what. In the end, discipline in hard times isn't just about surviving the storm. It's about using the storm to grow into someone stronger, wiser, and more focused than you were before. Discipline in relationships, building strong bonds with integrity. Discipline is not only about how you lead yourself, it is also about how you show up for others. The disciplined person applies the same principles of consistency, honesty, and responsibility that guide their personal goals to their relationships. They understand that trust is built in the small, repeated actions of daily life. It's built in keeping your word, in showing up when you say you will, in listening fully rather than half-heartedly, and in being reliable not just when it's easy, but especially when it's inconvenient. Just as discipline in your work leads to success over time, discipline in how you treat others builds strong, lasting bonds rooted in integrity. In relationships, discipline means choosing patience over impulse, kindness over ego, and honesty over convenience. It means having the courage to communicate clearly rather than leaving things unsaid. It means setting healthy boundaries, not out of selfishness, but because you know that strong relationships are built on mutual respect. The disciplined person doesn't let moods or fleeting emotions dictate how they treat the people in their life. They lead with principles, not with reactions. And because of this, their relationships become more resilient. Whether in family, friendship, love, or leadership, their bonds are marked by depth, loyalty, and genuine care. What makes disciplined relationships powerful is that they are intentional. They are not built on grand gestures alone, but on the small, daily choices to show up, to be honest, to be kind, and to honor commitments. Over time, these choices compound, just like disciplined habits in any other area, creating relationships that withstand trials, disagreements, and the tests of time. In the end, discipline in relationships is not about control. It's about integrity. It's about being the kind of person others can count on, and about building bonds that are as strong as the person you are becoming. Discipline and purpose, aligning action with meaning. Discipline without purpose eventually fades. To stay committed for the long term, your actions must be tied to something greater than tasks on a to-do list. Purpose gives discipline its power. It turns effort into meaning, struggle into service, and habits into a path that leads somewhere worth going. When you align your discipline with a clear sense of purpose, whether that's providing for your family, mastering a craft, contributing to a cause, or simply becoming the best version of yourself, every act of discipline gains weight and significance. You're no longer pushing yourself out of duty alone, you're pulling yourself forward with a vision that matters deeply to you. A person with discipline but no purpose may work hard, but they often burn out or drift. They lack the deeper why that fuels resilience when challenges arise. But a person whose discipline flows from purpose becomes unstoppable. Every small habit, every sacrifice, every moment of focus becomes a brick in something meaningful. Discipline then stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like devotion. Devotion to your values, your mission, and the future you want to build. This is the key to making discipline last. Connect your daily actions to your deepest why and let that purpose light the way even on the darkest days. Discipline and time, mastering the one resource you can't replace. Time is the most valuable resource you will ever have and the most limited. Money lost can be earned again. Opportunities missed may return in new forms. But time wasted is gone forever. The disciplined person understands this deeply. They see time not as something to spend carelessly, but as something to invest wisely. Every moment is a chance to build, to grow, to move closer to what matters. This is why discipline and time are inseparable. Without discipline, time slips through your fingers, stolen by distractions, wasted on the trivial, or surrendered to the demands of others. With discipline, time becomes a tool, a force you can harness to shape your future. Mastering your time starts with awareness, knowing where your hours go and whether those hours are serving your purpose or pulling you off course. It means saying no to what doesn't align with your values and yes to what does, even when it's uncomfortable. It means guarding your focus fiercely because you understand that each hour spent well brings you closer to your goals and each hour wasted is a piece of your life you will never get back. The disciplined person doesn't seek to fill their schedule with busyness. They seek to fill their life with meaning, using time as the tool it was meant to be. In the end, how you use your time reflects how much you respect your dreams and how deeply you're willing to honor them through daily action. The cost of discipline versus the cost of regret. Discipline always comes at a price. It asks you to give up comfort, ease, and instant gratification. It asks you to rise early when you want to sleep, to stay focused when distractions call, to do the hard thing when the easy path is right in front of you. But while discipline demands effort, it gives something priceless in return: pride, growth, progress, and peace of mind. The cost of discipline is paid daily in small doses: the skipped temptation, the completed task, the focused hour, and though it feels heavy at times, it builds a life you can be proud of. On the other side stands regret, which charges a far steeper price. Regret is the debt collected by undisciplined choices. It comes later when the chance to act is gone. Its cost is the dreams you didn't pursue, the potential you left unused, the relationships you neglected, and the goals you abandoned. The pain of discipline is temporary, the pain of regret lingers. Where discipline builds, regret erodes. Where discipline sharpens, regret dulls. And while discipline requires sacrifice now, regret demands far greater sacrifice later, the sacrifice of what could have been. The disciplined person understands this trade-off. They choose the short-term cost of effort over the long-term burden of if only. They remind themselves that every act of discipline today is an act of mercy on their future self. In the end, we all pay a price. The only question is, will you pay it now through discipline or later through regret? Designing a disciplined life, putting it all together. Discipline is not something you stumble upon or hope to develop by chance. It is something you design intentionally, thoughtfully, and with purpose. After understanding the principles of self-mastery, consistency, time management, focus, resilience, and purpose, the next step is to build these into the fabric of your daily life. A disciplined life is not rigid or joyless. It is structured in a way that frees you to pursue what truly matters because your energy is no longer wasted on distraction, indecision, or regret. Designing this kind of life begins with clarity, knowing what you want, why you want it, and what standards you will live by. It means setting systems that support your goals, morning routines that center you, habits that move you forward, boundaries that protect your focus, and regular reflection to keep you aligned with your purpose. To live a disciplined life is to design each day with intention. It's not about perfection, but about progress, about showing up, adjusting when needed, and staying true to your deepest values. It's about creating an environment that makes the right choices easier, surrounding yourself with people who challenge and inspire you, setting up your space to reduce temptation, and planning your time so that your actions match your ambitions. When you design your life in this way, discipline stops being a struggle. It becomes your natural state, the foundation that supports every dream you dare to build. The journey begins now. You've reached the end of these pages, but the true journey is only beginning. Reading about discipline will not change your life, acting on it will. The insights, principles, and strategies shared here are tools. And like any tool, they gain their power only when you put them to work. Now is the moment to decide who you will become. Will you be the person who dreams of change but waits for the perfect time? Or will you be the person who chooses discipline today even in small ways and begins building the future you deserve? Remember, the disciplined life is not built overnight. It is shaped day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. The path will not always be easy. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and temptations to quit. But each time you stay the course, each time you rise after falling, you grow stronger. The reward is not just what you achieve, it is who you become along the way. So, where do you begin? Start small. Choose one area of your life today where discipline will make a difference: your health, your work, your mindset, your time, your relationships. Set one standard you will hold yourself to. Build one small habit you will follow through on no matter what. And when you master that, build the next. Progress will come not through perfect days, but through persistent effort. Designing a disciplined life, putting it all together. Discipline is not something you stumble upon or hope to develop by chance. It is something you design intentionally, thoughtfully, and with purpose. After understanding the principles of self-mastery, consistency, time management, focus, resilience, and purpose, the next step is to build these into the fabric of your daily life. A disciplined life is not rigid or joyless. It is structured in a way that frees you to pursue what truly matters because your energy is no longer wasted on distraction, indecision, or regret. Designing this kind of life begins with clarity, knowing what you want, why you want it, and what standards you will live by. It means setting systems that support your goals, morning routines that center you, habits that move you forward, boundaries that protect your focus, and regular reflection to keep you aligned with your purpose. To live a disciplined life is to design each day with intention. It's not about perfection, but about progress, about showing up, adjusting when needed, and staying true to your deepest values. It's about creating an environment that makes the right choices easier, surrounding yourself with people who challenge and inspire you, setting up your space to reduce temptation, and planning your time so that your actions match your ambitions. When you design your life in this way, discipline stops being a struggle. It becomes your natural state, the foundation that supports every dream you dare to build. The journey begins now. You've reached the end of these pages, but the true journey is only beginning. Reading about discipline will not change your life, acting on it will. The insights, principles, and strategies shared here are tools. And like any tool, they gain their power only when you put them to work. Now is the moment to decide who you will become. Will you be the person who dreams of change but waits for the perfect time? Or will you be the person who chooses discipline today even in small ways and begins building the future you deserve? Remember, the disciplined life is not built overnight. It is shaped day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. The path will not always be easy. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and temptations to quit. But each time you stay the course, each time you rise after falling, you grow stronger. The reward is not just what you achieve, it is who you become along the way. So, where do you begin? Start small. Choose one area of your life today where discipline will make a difference: your health, your work, your mindset, your time, your relationships. Set one standard you will hold yourself to. Build one small habit you will follow through on no matter what. And when you master that, build the next. Progress will come not through perfect days, but through persistent effort. If this book has lit a spark in you, protect it. Revisit these pages as needed. Reflect often. Adjust as you grow. And most of all, act. The disciplined life is yours to design. The tools are in your hands. The time is now. Go build it. First 30 days of discipline, your action plan. Congratulations, you're about to embark on a powerful journey of transformation. This action plan is designed to help you build lasting discipline by focusing on one key area of your life each week for the next 30 days. Follow these steps, and at the end of this month, you will have laid a solid foundation for a disciplined life. Week 1. Define your standards and build your routine. Goal: establish a clear vision for your disciplined life by defining key personal standards and crafting a morning or evening routine. Daily actions. 1. Define your core standards. Identify 3 to 5 standards you will commit to every day, e.g., wake up at 6 a.m., read for 30 minutes, track your spending, etc. These should be small, measurable actions that align with your goals. 2. Create a routine. Design a morning or evening routine that incorporates your core standards. Keep it simple and realistic. Start with just 3 to 5 activities that support your goals and set you up for success. 3. Track your progress. Use a habit tracker, either physical or digital, to track your adherence to your standards. Reflection end of week. How did the new routine feel? Were you able to stick to your standards? Why or why not? What adjustments do you need to make for week 2? Week 2. Master focus and eliminate distractions. Goal: sharpen your ability to focus by eliminating distractions and practicing deep work. Daily actions. 1. Eliminate one major distraction. Identify one major distraction, e.g., social media, clutter, multitasking, and create a strategy to reduce or eliminate it. 2. Practice 30 minutes of deep work. Each day, dedicate at least 30 minutes to focused work without any interruptions. This could be studying, writing, exercising, or any task that requires deep concentration. 3. Time block your day. Set aside specific blocks of time for your most important activities and stick to the schedule as much as possible. Reflection end of week. Which distractions were most difficult to eliminate and why? How did the practice of deep work impact your productivity? Did time blocking help you stay on track? What changes can you make for week 3? Week 3. Build resilience and commit to small daily habits. Goal: build mental resilience by committing to small, consistent actions every day even when it's hard. Daily actions. 1. Commit to one small habit. Choose one new habit to practice every day this week, no matter how small. This could be making your bed, exercising for 10 minutes, or writing one page. 2. Practice no excuses each day. Face at least one task or activity that you would normally avoid. Push through the resistance and do it anyway. 3. Journal for 5 minutes. At the end of each day, reflect on what went well and what challenged you. Use this time to track your progress and adjust your mindset. Reflection end of week. Which habit was easiest to stick with? Which was hardest? What did you learn about your ability to push through resistance? How did journaling help you reflect on your progress? What are your key takeaways for week 4? Week 4. Cultivate purpose and align your actions with your goals. Goal: connect your daily actions to your deeper sense of purpose and long-term goals. Daily actions. 1. Set intentional goals. Review your long-term goals and identify 1 to 2 key objectives that will take you closer to your purpose. Each day this week, take at least one step toward those goals. 2. Align your actions. Throughout the day, ask yourself, is this action aligned with my vision and goals? Make intentional choices that reinforce your purpose. 3. Practice gratitude. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. This will help you maintain a positive, forward-thinking mindset. Reflection end of week. How did connecting your actions to your purpose affect your motivation? Were there moments when you felt off track? How did you get back aligned? What insights did you gain about your goals and long-term vision? Final reflection: assess your progress and plan for the future. By now, you've built a solid foundation of discipline in your life. The next step is to assess your progress and plan for continued growth. Reflect on the following. 1. What has changed? How has your discipline evolved over the past 30 days? 2. What are your strengths? What areas have you excelled in? 3. What are your growth areas? Where do you still struggle and what habits do you need to refine? 4. How will you sustain your discipline? Moving forward, what habits, routines, and strategies will you keep in place to maintain your progress? Conclusion: the disciplined life is yours to build. Discipline is not a gift granted to the few. It is not a trait you're born with or something that belongs only to the talented, the lucky, or the extraordinary. It is a choice, a decision you make every day, in small moments, in quiet battles, and in the face of both temptation and challenge. Throughout this book, you've seen that discipline is not about perfection. It is not about never slipping, never struggling, or never feeling doubt. It is about persistence. It is about returning to your path again and again, no matter how many times life tries to pull you off course. You now understand that discipline is what builds every worthwhile achievement. It shapes your character, fuels your growth, protects your time, strengthens your relationships, and connects your daily actions to your deepest purpose. A disciplined life is not an accident. It is designed. It is created through intentional choices, repeated with consistency, and refined over time. It is built not in grand, heroic moments, but in the small, often invisible decisions you make when no one is watching. The path forward is in your hands. You don't need more time, more talent, or better circumstances. You already have everything you need, the power to choose. Each day gives you a chance to live with discipline, to honor your commitments, to focus on what matters, to resist the pull of comfort, and to build a future that reflects the strength inside you. So let this be your call to action. Decide today to live the disciplined life. Not tomorrow. Not when things are easier. Not when the conditions are perfect. Start now. Choose now. And as you walk this path, remember that discipline will not only change what you achieve, it will change who you become. The disciplined life is yours to build. And the time to begin is now. Thank you for listening to the Self-Discipline Blueprint. If this audiobook brought you value, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so more people around the world can discover this powerful message. Tap the notification bell so you never miss new uploads that help you grow and succeed. In the comments, tell us one area of your life where you're now ready to apply extreme discipline. Your story could inspire someone else. Keep feeding your mind, keep showing up, and remember, discipline isn't about waiting for motivation, it's the daily decision to take control of your future. Stay focused, stay consistent, and keep moving forward.